The tiger in the zoo did not leave the little girl, and when people found out the reason, they were. When a little girl came to the zoo, one of the Bengal tigers immediately paid attention to her and literally followed the little girl on his heels. The parents of the girl, having found out the real reason for what was happening, were simply amazed. A married couple, Sean and Abigail, decided to take their 3-year-old daughter, Sarah, to the zoo for the first time and experience the little girl had been eagerly awaiting. Sarah had always loved animals and adored playing with their pet dog. On walks, she was naturally drawn to animals, as if by some invisible yet powerful connection. Recognizing her deep bond with the animal world, Sean and Abigail decided to take their daughter to the zoo, certain it would be an unforgettable adventure for her. Sarah was overjoyed, running excitedly from one animal enclosure to the next, her cheerful exclamations echoing through the zoo. Her parents struggled to keep up with her boundless energy. However, at one point, while they were momentarily distracted by a lion's menacing roar, Sarah suddenly vanished. Abigail cried out in panic while Sean frantically began searching for their daughter. But everything was useless. Suddenly, the couple's attention was attracted by a group of foreign tourists who were discussing something with interest and admiring it near a cage with Bengal tigers. The couple came closer and finally saw their daughter right next to the thick glass that separated the fearsome predator from the visitors. Abigail sighed with relief, but did not immediately take the girl away from the enclosure, as she was very interested in what was happening inside. Sarah put both hands on the glass and walked back and forth, laughing cheerfully as if playing with a big striped cat. But the most amazing thing was that one of the tigers not only watched the girl closely, but also followed her around. At the same time, he did not look like an aggressive hunter, but rather like an interested observer. The foreign tourists also tried their best to attract the attention of the graceful predator, but he seemed to be interested in no one else but Sarah. Having played enough, the girl stopped and then pressed her small hands and head tightly against the glass. Surprisingly, the tiger almost completely repeated the child's movements, leaning his big furry paws against the fence and growling in a friendly manner. Excited tourists began to scream even louder and take pictures of this amazing sight. The parents let Sarah play with the predator for a while, after which they took her to another part of the zoo to eat ice cream. At the same time, the three did not notice that, all this time, a man was carefully watching them. 1 hour passed, and the family was about to go home, but little Sarah persuaded her parents to return to the enclosure with the tiger she liked so much. The adults agreed, and the predator, who had been sleeping until that time, saw that the girl had returned, immediately jumped up from his place and headed towards her. This made Sarah very happy. They seemed to treat the huge tiger like a cute pet kitten. A few minutes later, the same man who had been watching them at the tiger cage approached the couple. He introduced himself as Andrew, the zookeeper. The zookeeper explained that the tiger's name was Bodhi, and he was brought to the zoo from Nepal after he was injured by poachers there, and the predator had little chance of survival in the wild. Bodhi was placed in the enclosure with other tigers, but the newcomer could not adapt. Almost all the time, he slept on his big stone in the corner and ate very little, showing no interest in what was going on around him. Therefore, today's attention to the little girl greatly surprised the experienced zookeeper, who explained that it was not the interest of a predator in its prey, but was much more like communication between two friends. Until that day, the zoo staff had serious doubts about the tiger's ability to adapt to life in captivity and feared he might meet a tragic end. However, Bodhi's interaction with Sarah revealed a renewed spark of interest in life, giving hope that he could still be saved. While Sarah joyfully played with her large furry friend, Andrew encouraged the family to visit Bodhi as often as possible, knowing how much their bond was helping the tiger thrive. Promising free visits and special treats at the zoo, the staff invited Sarah and her family to come regularly. Knowing how much their daughter loved animals, her parents happily agreed. Sarah was overjoyed, jumping with excitement at the thought of frequent trips to the zoo to visit her new friend, Bodhi. Over the next few months, Bodhi would eagerly rush to the glass of his enclosure every time he spotted his little friend coming to see him. The tiger had grown significantly stronger, eating more and even beginning to interact with other predators in its habitat. Sarah's parents were thrilled to see how much joy these zoo visits brought her. She would light up with happiness after every trip and enthusiastically tell them that when she grew up, she was determined to become a zookeeper. What an incredible story! If you enjoyed this video and want to see more, Don't forget to hit that like button, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel. We'd love to hear your thoughts, so please leave a comment below. See you in the next video.